Good evening. I'm actually sitting on my squeaky sofa bed. Sophie, my son laughing at me. Sophie is squeaking in the background. That's what it is. And my brain is blank. I've got nothing. You know, it's really hard to come on here with nothing planned. There's a part of me that feels like it's so unprofessional to come on live with absolutely nothing planned to say and to just let whatever come out. And I've got no thought today of anything to say. Thank you for the hearts and such. I'll have to look and see who it is later because I don't have my glasses on. Like I'm literally sitting here just talking to y'all saying nothing. I did just finish watching this movie called Irresistible on Fandango. It's got Steve Carell in it. I like Steve Carell. He's awesome. My son actually, well, I saw him in 40-Year-Old Virgin, but my son put me onto The Office, and my youngest son. And I love the show. It's become one of my favorite shows to watch. So I watched it. If you get a chance, check it out. It's Irresistible. It's on Fandango. I think it's on Apple TV as well. But it talks about the election process. And basically, so Jon Stewart wrote it, so you know it's got that slant. And it talks about how corrupt our political process is and how much money people spend trying to hire someone. Well, basically elect whatever, someone to be in political office. So I did watch that, and that was cool. And the only other thing I was thinking about today was probably related to my earlier post about this full moon and lunar eclipse that is coming this weekend. And apparently Mars has entered Aries. Oh, the fuck. Like, the whole entire, everything's shifting, y'all. And this is really the time to uncover and unpack your shit. It really is. Like, it may not all be, like, healed. And y'all know how I feel about making healing a religion, right? It may not all be healed. But this is the time to begin to admit some truths. Some truths about who you are, some truths about what you're wanting to build, you know? And, you know, TMI, whatever, but my cycle's probably coming this weekend as well. And my son's like, really, Mom? Oh, it's going to be some magic up in here. Okay. It's going to be some magic happening in here. Oh my gosh, I'm not Christian, but don't Christians say something about the blood? I don't know. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm taking it too far, y'all. But I always think of it in different terms. But listen, on a serious tip, this weekend, you know, whatever your belief system is, there is something to be said for earth-based religions. There's something to be said for living with the cycles of nature. And for tens of thousands of years, we did that. We lived with the cycles of nature before monotheism came in as a way to exert power over our thinking, over our thought process, before monotheism came in as a way to subjugate people. And we used what the earth gave us. We use the cycles of the sun. We use the cycles of the moon. We use the cycles of women to live. And we think we're separate from the universe, and we're not. We're so egotistical on this planet. We even swear we're the only beings in the universe. Shit, my phone is dying. Dakari, can you hand me my charger?
Where?
It's over there. Man, it's the iPhone charger. We think we're the only human beings. We think we're the only beings in the universe. Thank you so much. Can you hand me the cord, please? And we're not. And thank you. I appreciate you. I'm sorry. Technical difficulties. Please stand by. Can you plug it in? Plug it in. Plug it in. I swear, y'all, I'm extremely sober when I get on here to do these things. I just want y'all to know that. Really? What, son? I am sober. I'm not, no, I'm not high either. I'm detoxing, so there's none of that. All right, so as I was saying, we think we're the only planet with life on it. We think, you know, the arrogance of us to think that we're separate from the universe, that we're separate from the stars, that we're separate from the cycles, that we're separate from the galaxy that we live in, that we can't see the rotation of our Milky Way galaxy and what exists here on this planet in shapes. And we have forgotten, fireworks. We have forgotten that we are connected to this planet. We've forgotten that we're 75% water and so is our planet. We've forgotten that we have electricity running through our body and so does this planet. We've forgotten that we are part of this ecosystem. We are part of this. We're not separate from it. We speak about these things like the plants and the animals, like it's something else, and then there's us. We could not survive without that. And I say all this to say, when you look at what's happening in the world, and then you look at the eclipses that have taken place, and I'm not I'm not into astrology like deep. I have some friends who are into deep that can talk about something trying something else. I don't know none of that. I know the basics, and basically I know that having a lunar eclipse means that you cannot see the light of the moon. I look at the symbolism of the moon, emotions. The moon controls water, you know, it's how we feel. And so if we can't see the light of it, then we're looking at the dark. So we're looking at our shadow emotions, our shadow feelings. I'm looking at how the sun and the earth and the moon will be completely aligned. I'm looking how at the same time that the moon, which represents our emotions, will be in shadow, Mars will be in the sign of Aries. I'm thinking about the amount of anger that can be produced. The shadow stuff, you know, not all the love and light, but like that can come up. I'm thinking about how this is happening during the weekend of Independence Day for the United States in particular, and how this country was founded on violence under the guise of freedom. By the way, just for historical fact, some of the first people that came to this country weren't necessarily fleeing religious oppression. They were kicked out of Europe. It's like England said, send these vagabonds to the New World. We don't want them here. And they sent them away, you know, thinking maybe they would die or do whatever or whatever have you. And so this country was founded with who they didn't want to have there. Please don't ask me for sources at this time. I learned this information a long time ago, but by all means, feel free to do your own research. I always recommend doing your own research. So this country that's founded in violence, living in the shadow of its own greed and selfishness, will now be under the shadow of a lunar eclipse that's happening during that time. I look at all of that and I think about the growth that needs to happen within each of us as a collective and individually. Because as a collective, we need to change, but that change starts with each individual person. And so I was thinking about that today and thinking about how disconnected we are from nature and how disconnected we are from those earth-based religions. And so how disconnected we are from ourselves. And have very little understanding of our place, not just on this planet, but in our solar system and our galaxy. I'm sure I hope I'm not sounding too deep or weird to y'all. These are the things that I think about. So like I said, this is the off the cuff stuff that comes to me. And so what I intend to do this weekend, that's my bet's weekend. A full moon is generally a time, it can be used for two general huge purposes. Full moons can be used as a time of celebration. It is finished. Whatever you planted during the new moon time, and for the full moon, it is celebratory. Like, it is done. Yes. Full moons can also be used as the start of your banishing. Let me get rid of. Let me cast aside. Throw away whatever I don't want. I tend to use the full moon as a time of banishing. That's what I do. And so this weekend I will set up my altar. It's right next to me over there. I will set up my altar. I will set up candles. I will scribe them with I love rune symbols from Ireland. I have no doubt that in one of my lives I was Irish. My great-grandfather was Irish, so that makes sense too. I love runes. I will inscribe them with runes. I will get my stones out. I will get out the things that I do not want to take with me into this next cycle. And that's what I will be doing this weekend with this time. I encourage you to take a look at what is no longer serving you in your life. A habit, thoughts, relationships, job. What is no longer serving you that you are holding on to? Probably to help stick you with that identity that I talked about last night. What are you holding on to? And why? And what are you holding on to help you feel safe isn't the word I'm looking for, but I guess that's it. Like, you have to reach for the next level, and that in order to do that, again, you have to sacrifice this thing, you have to get rid of it, and you just don't want to. And we do that a lot, and then we say, well, see, I wanted it, but it couldn't happen because I really didn't want to get rid of the things that were standing in the way, is what it is. I digress. But this weekend is a time to really think about it. This weekend is a time to really examine your own personal shadow. As each one of us do it, then the collective will change. The collective isn't going to change on its own. It starts with the individual person. So I guess I did have something to say. It's so funny how this works. The fuck? Yeah, so I guess I'll be back on tomorrow, babbling for about a minute or two until whatever it is that comes through me wants to come through me. I promise you that sometimes I probably will talk about coitus. But since Facebook shut me down for posting about it, then I start to get a little concerned. So I'll probably have to say words like coitus and self-pleasure and lingam and yoni. And, I'll use other terminology that, Facebook algorithms haven't, I saw a little laughter there, that Facebook algorithms haven't figured out means I'm talking about the deed. Anyway, that's it for tonight. Yeah, check out your shadow self this weekend. Be in on it. I will be back here tomorrow night. Like I said, keep those notifications on because you don't know what's coming out of this mouth, I tell you. I don't even know what's coming out. We'll see. We'll see tomorrow. Have a good night, y'all. Bye.